There it is. Hello. This is show number 5, test show number 5. I am Juan, and today is Thursday, Friday, October 19th. I never get this right. I don't know. Does it matter? Like, do you have to say when it is, what episode it is, who you are? I guess just saying hi is important, as is in regular, customary greetings. All right, so this one is a really last minute deal because I completely forgot today was the Friday, or it had been 8 days since the last show. So I got nothing except, I guess, an introduction of sorts, I think, to tell you who I am. But then, is that what anyone wants to do? Tell the internet who they really are? That's not smart. It's not advisable, I don't think. My name's Juan. I can say that. I live in the northeast of America, right? Um, I am Latino, Hispanic. Um, when you fill out those forms, it says other white Hispanic. That's an option. I usually just say what country I'm from. I never go with Latino. It sounds too like 90s. It's like it's just a nicer way of it's just a nicer way of saying either like Mexican. Like you can say Mexican. I mean, you say whatever you want. But back in the day, it'd be like Mexicans, and then some people would say Puerto Ricans. And what annoyed me about that is people who say Puerto Ricans think they're some sort of progressive type person for actually having another background to come up to say or to guess, which is silly. This is like old school, um, what do you call it, stereotypes. Uh, so Latin is one. That one sounds cooler, especially with the advent of what do you call it, reggaeton, which I hate. I mean, I like giving a drink or two, but generally I don't get it. There's this new song out called Taki Taki, which brings me to like Spanish culture in America in general is way out of hand. It is insane. Spanish radio for starters. We used to have Howard Stern and those Opie and Anthony guys, and they would get in trouble for saying shit and cursing or whatever in Spanish on like the Spanish version of like a Radio Zoo morning show. It's usually called La Mañana con Julito or some random dude, and it's the same setup. It's like a main crazy guy who's always telling jokes or making accents, and oh my god, homophobic as fuck. Like I mean, it's more comedic, which is still not nice, but it's kind of funny, just because they create these like really flamboyant characters. But a lot of it is like pranking people on the phone, and a lot of it has like homophobia in it. Like one character will just like talk about saying the person they called up is really gay and he's really not. Um, it's very sexist. It's they talk a lot of shit. They curse like crazy. They're very graphic with what they say, and I'm not complaining. It's hilarious to me how, for the most part, it's okay to like have that in Spanish because we don't really understand it, and people will like all day just say puta, and I guess you could say whore, fuck, or whatever, which is kind of what that means. Um, what I'm saying is that it's funny how unregulated Spanish language on like the media is. Um, the news shows on like, for example, Univision, which is or Telemundo is another one, are very racy. The weather women alone compared to American women, like Fox anchors have nothing on Latina weather women. Just Google that for starters. I'm getting out of hand here. So to dial it back in, um, the language, I guess, barrier from English to Spanish lets a lot of the metaphorical wall lets a lot of craziness to happen on the Spanish side of things. So that Taki Taki song, when I first heard it for a second, I thought they meant Tiki Taki, which is like some weird Argentinian soccer style play reference that is like well known in like all over South America, the Tiki Taki. And then when I listened to it, I'm like, oh man, they're not talking about that. Taki Taki is like some really awkward, weird euphemism for a movement, I think, like a rated R movement. So this whole stupid Spanish Latino rant, culture rant, is about my name or my background because I'm a Spanish dude. So, which even that's incorrect because Spanish implies heritage from Spain, which on some 23andMe percentage, I'm sure, but I've been there, but I'm not raised. I've never. That's Europe. That's totally different from Latino America, which involves all of South America, I guess Mexico, Central America. Yeah, so you can probably guess where I'm from. Little clues that I don't really have up right now. But I don't know. Do you share that too? I don't know how much you're supposed to share on the internet. The internet's a very, very weird, scary place for identity, right? Well, yeah. So I'm not talking about politics, but what I want to talk about is how I pronounce my name. It is a stupid thing. Probably no one has this problem other than like even a small percentage of people that have my name. So I say Juan, just because I grew up here for the most part. I lived in that South American country for like a good amount of time too. But so my Spanish is like super fine. And down there, my name is pronounced completely different. Not completely, you just pronounce the Juan. Like there's a very H-y sound, which I never do when I meet anyone. Like if I meet like a guy or a girl or something, like, hey, nice to meet you, Juan. And even that, I gotta like extend it longer because if I say it fast, people will maybe guess Ron or even Warren. I've heard. Starbucks is hilarious. The shit that they run in the cups, but that's I think they're supposed to do that on purpose. It's like a weird joke. Anywho, so yeah, so are there any Juans out there that have the problem that I have? Like I'm comfortable saying Juan, but it causes some issues. And when it does, I say it again. I go, oh, it's Juan. And then sometimes I'll say my middle name because it rolls and it sounds kind of cool. But most people don't go by their middle names unless they're like from Virginia or something, and it's like hyphenated, Amber Lynn. But anyway, God, dude, I cannot focus. This is really hard, especially when you're not thinking about when you're supposed to put this out and you forget, and then you got to run around and do it. All right, so I need to do better at that. So I did change the camera today. I'm messing with a different app. I downloaded the Cinema 4K app. I think that's what it's called, and paid $5 to some other idiot on YouTube. Did a little review on it. And he's not an idiot, really cool guy. I have no idea what the link is to his website. I'll post it if I find it. Yeah, so Juan. And in Spanish, it's Juan, and the way they say Juan, you should have noticed it. If you speak Spanish, you just notice what happened there. So does it matter? Do I just change my name? I actually, when I became a citizen years ago, I think I was like 9 or 10, the lady, I was with my dad and my mom, and you go to like sign your little cool little certificate thing, which I won't show you because, hello, but that's the thing I've always worried or not worried about because my name is Juan, super generic Spanish last name. I'm basically the Bob Smith of Spanish names. So I never worry. Or should you worry more? Do Bob Smiths get their identity stolen more? or there's such a buffer of names that like you're just you're defended by all these other asteroid belt of different names that are getting like hijacked, and like then the percentage is like tiny. That's how I go about it. Like I've never had an issue, except one time I went to this really shitty juice store, and it was one of those deals where you had to type in your PIN, and that day I started getting alerts. Some dude was all the way uptown buying chicken at a store. He was actually going to, not KFC, which is the other one, Wendy's. He was buying Wendy's stuff. I'm assuming chicken. I don't know why. It's not like the thing tells you what you buy. But it's funny because you got to stop. And this sucks because I'm not editing yet. You have to like stop and like figure out what are you going to say, what are you not going to say. Anyway, so yeah, so I don't worry about my identity too much, even though it did happen that one time. So that's it. So I'm Juan from the Northeast. I'm making videos. I suck at it, but I'm getting better, hopefully. I don't know. This camera should have like way better settings. Even though it's the same camera, but the software on the original Moto G5S, which just got updated, I think. Freaking an Android app came out, which I guess I get a little bit late because I don't have like a Pixel or anything like that. And my phone's crazy now. It took 30 minutes to update, and I updated it on the way to my newish job. And I know how to get there, but I haven't gotten there in a while. And my phone craps out in the morning, so I'm like running around blind, which is not too scary, but you get a little bit of anxiety. So I'm like, what if I don't know where I'm at? How do, I need Google Maps to get around. That's weird, the dependency we have on technology. I should write these things down so I can talk about them later. All right, so I'm out. Hopefully another Juan out there can tell this Juan that he's okay, or that, that he has that problem too, or she. There's a couple of Juanas out there, Juanitas. Bonitas. All right, I'm out. This is nonsense. But I'm having fun making this nonsense, and I'm gonna do better next time. Next week's gonna be on Saturday, so see you in 8 days, and I guess that's it. Bye.